guys, let me introduce you to Charles Darwin. Well, if you haven't been introduced yet, an English naturalist and traveler of the 19th century. Not a favorite of all religious worldviews, since he is the one of the first to come to the conclusion and substantiate the idea that all types of living organisms evolve over time and come from common ancestors, and not that someone created them. Well, today we will not be talking about him. Yeah, sorry Charles. That's okay. We'll talk about the awards named after him. The Darwin Award is a virtual anti-prize awarded annually to individuals who in the most idiotic way have lost their lives or the ability to have children, and, as a result, have deprived themselves of the opportunity to contribute to the gene pool of humanity, thereby potentially improving it. At the same time, the prize is not awarded to those who already have children of their own. The first mention of the Darwin Awards is recorded in the NetBizarre Usenet group, when a user with the nickname Andy opened a new topic called Darwin Awards. It happened on August 7th, 1985, at a time when you could see an actual name in a nickname without numbers and any other shit. Well, that is long before even the time when it took all day for a picture to be loaded with weird noises. So, from that time to this day, the Darwin Prize is still awarded. But of course not to everyone, but according to certain requirements. And here are 5 requirements for candidates. Reproduction. The stupidity made by the candidate deprived him of the opportunity to produce offspring. Perfection. The stupidity done by the candidate was outstanding. Independence. The candidate made the stupidity voluntarily and only to himself. Maturity. The candidate, by age and mental state, could make responsible decisions. Truthfulness. The candidate's story is confirmed by reliable sources. So welcome the top 3 and only 3 2020 Darwin Awards winners. Let's start from the 3rd place. Tell me, have you read the books by Forrest Fenn, The Thrill of the Chase and Too Far to Walk? No? Well, don't, because after reading them, 350,000 people went nuts. And they all went in search of treasures that Forrest allegedly hid in 2010, somewhere in the Rocky Mountains of North America. Where exactly? He wrote about it in his books. So, out of 350,000 people, albeit empty-handed, but still came back 349,996. I mean, 4 of them fucking died. Well, they didn't find anything either. But all this didn't stop our nominee, the 58-year-old Michael Saxon, who, having also read the book, was eager to find these treasures. But unlike the others, Michael knew where it was hidden. It's very simple. I'll refer to the interpretation of the clues and hints that I found in the book. So he persuaded a 65-year-old friend to join him to this get-rich-quickly gamble. Are you with me? Where to? For the treasure. Yeah, whatever. They ended up heading for the Dinosaur National Monument on the Colorado-Utah border. A long time ago, dinosaurs used to live there. Michael was so positive of where the treasure was hidden that neither he nor his friend were prepared to spend the night in the mountains. They had no doubt, assuming that if they started early, they would be home by sunset and $2 million richer. Well, Michael was wrong. They didn't find the treasure, but they certainly got lost. Frozen, hungry, and disoriented, they were already desperate for salvation and were very close to death, somewhere in the mountains of this dinosaur park. But fortunately, they were eventually found by the search and rescue team, which took them down from this mountain. It would seem that having gone through such an experience, Michael would have learned a lesson, but he didn't. A month later, having recovered well enough, he went for a second attempt. So he came to his 65-year-old friend again with a request to join him. Are you with me? Where to? For the treasure. Again? You and I miraculously got out of there alive, and I'm still in the hospital, goddammit! I haven't really recovered yet, and you're calling me again for those treasures that may not even exist in real life? Assuring me that we will definitely find them this time? Yep. Okay, let's go. And they went to the dinosaur again. This time they took along a few chocolate bars, 2 bottles of water, a copy of Fenn's book, and some clothes. The COVID-19 epidemic, unfolding at this time, led to the temporary closure of the National Monument, and travelers were warned to avoid difficult terrains, so that first aiders could remain safe in quarantine. But that didn't stop Michael. Just outside the park, they rented snowmobiles and loaded them into the back of their pickup. The rental agent, of course, saw that the treasure hunters were not very well prepared, and after dark, he got worried about them. So he warned the local authorities. Well, the search began. 2 days later, Michael's truck was found, and another day later, the abandoned snowmobiles were found, and the footprints of Michael and his friend, who unwisely continued on foot. A few hours later, the men were found about a mile away from the snowmobiles, in almost the same place from where they were rescued a month ago. Only this time, Michael was taken down from this mountain in the form of a corpse, and his friend, who barely survived, refuses to talk about their ordeal to this day. By the way, in the end, in June 2020, the treasure was finally allegedly discovered. Well, as the author Forrest Fenn said. Of course, without providing any additional details, except for a photo. Do you feel what it smells like? Huh? Fucking bullshit. Well, the bronze medal is awarded to book treasure hunter Michael Saxon. You're such fucking idiots, man. Can you at least tell me what happened to you there? I can't. I promised, Michael. Second place goes to Bradley Streeter, 20 years old, who was taken out at 3 o'clock in the morning from the most magically beautiful place, namely from the funnel of the cave garden of Mount Gambier in South Australia. Bradley was a cocky guy with a heart of gold, enterprising and talented in mechanics. He loved cars and fishing, an aspiring mechanic who was selling car parts. He had a bright future ahead of him and was loved by absolutely everyone in his small hometown. What could have gone wrong? An accident? Or was it a serial killer? What do you think? Well, everything is clear here. Ordinary fucking idiotism. Well, no one gets the Darwin Prize for nothing, you know. After all, this funnel is a popular local and tourist attraction, and therefore has been a safe environment for many years, enjoyed by thousands of people. Plus, Bradley was not alone, but in the company of friends, who soon called the rescuers, the police, and an ambulance. It turns out that young Bradley just did a midnight handstand on the railing of the observation deck. What? A handstand? Yep. He said he could stand for at least 20 seconds upside down on the railing, 100 feet above the dark cave floor. But he stood only 10. He lost his balance and fell into the dark but beautiful abyss, along with my $20, which I honestly won in a bet, because I knew he couldn't do it. Give me back my money, you bastard! They've already pulled him out. Oh, right. Give me back my money, you bastard! Well, actually, handstands are very good, but only at ground level, where hitting your ass is the worst thing that can happen. But alas, not for Bradley. So he gets second place. What a fucking idiot. Well, and the first place goes to a 47-year-old Japanese man, Tetsu Shiohara, also known as Tetsu. Tetsu was a live streamer on Nico Nico website. And one fine day he decided to go and stream from the famous Fuji mountain, 60 miles away from Tokyo. This mountain is visited by religious pilgrims, climbers, and tourists. And since the hike is cold and slippery, the winter climbers need suitable equipment for the ascent, the experience of this very ascent, and, of course, common sense. Tetsu had none of those. So, in sweetwear suitable for a typical October day in Tokyo, and carrying nothing but a pair of climbing poles, Tetsu turned on his smartphone and continued along the Shubashiri Trail, which, by the way, is used by most climbers only for descent. On the video sharing platform Nico Nico, he titled his video, "Let's Go to Snowy Mount Fuji," apparently considering Snowy Mountain Fuji as safe as a snowdrift near the house. It all started well. with a good road, and it was sunny and warm, but gradually the road turned into a snow-covered, slippery, unstoped path. The sun hid behind the clouds, and the heat left his body with great speed, making it colder and colder. But I hope you understand that it was not getting cold because the sun was hiding, but because Tetsu was rising higher and higher in the mountains. And in the mountains, the higher you go, the colder it gets. I mean, you are aware, right? You don't think that the higher you go, the closer you get to the sun, which means it should be warmer, right? Anyway, eventually, when there were 1,000 feet left to the top, the path along which he walked turned into stones, into very slippery stones. His limbs were numb, and his body was numb. And this was, by the way, the perfect time to fuck it and go home. But the desire to continue, most likely motivated by a reluctance to disappoint his viewers, prompted Tetsu to drift further towards the obvious and imminent danger.
But he didn't fall yet.
Well, he seems still going on.
Why are we watching him, though?
Hell knows. I'm just too lazy to switch. And then the path suddenly narrowed, and the protective fence ended, and Tetsu was walking dangerously close to the edge. Suddenly, his unsuitable shoes begin to fail, and he stumbles and slips. And with the words,
"Wait, I slipped,"
he begins to slide down from a 30-degree cliff. And the only option that he has left to somehow stop or slow down the fall is to use an ice axe, which he doesn't fucking have. But Tetsu had a phone. So in the live broadcast, everyone who had nothing to do that day could watch the fall of the amateur tourist who was surprisingly close to the top in wintertime. Damn, looks like he's fallen. Let's call the rescue service.
Yeah, but first return the money for the bet. I've known a guy who also lost and didn't pay.
Well, for those who are now rushing to look up this video on the internet, come on, I have it in the description. And secondly, you bloodthirsty freaks, you won't see any kind of hard mess there, since the picture was stuck on one of the poles that he had, apparently due to communication failure, or maybe the phone just got broken during the fall. So, gloves, crampons, and flare, that's all that the 47-year-old Tetsu needed to properly make an exciting climb to the sacred mountain of Japan. And perhaps he would have had another 47 years of life ahead of him. But then there would be no first place in our video about the Darwin Prize 2020. Well, the moral of this video is this. Guys, don't even think of trying any of this shit. And if you really lack common sense, logic, and the instinct of self-preservation, then at least use the function of the ass signal. You know, as soon as your ass feels that it's about to get kicked, immediately call someone saying, "Ah, I'm a fucking idiot! I got into some kind of crap again! Please, please take me away from here!" And everything will be fine with you. If you don't know if it's dangerous for you or not, your ass will warn you. Well, that's all for today. It was Brock from Broccoli Academy. And thanks for watching. Well guys, if as always everything rolled into you, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to scribble something in the comment section.